Hello Culers, it's Pablo here and welcome back to Barca Universal and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. In today's video we're going to be discussing the serious action that Joan Laporta will be taking at FC Barcelona this summer. There's been a lot of news coming out of late, I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of it, releasing players, Titi and PJANIČ in very, very interesting situations. And in today's video guys I wanted to talk about a lot of the players in the squad, also with our financial situation, highly tied into that. And I wanted to discuss guys, what's going to happen this summer. Big things are going to be happening, unexpected things are going to be happening, and Joan Laporta will be taking important measures to try and save Barcelona this summer. And as I just touched on there guys, our financial situation is absolutely horrible. That's the main thing I want to say. Just to start this video, you guys need to know it. They've covered it up for years of Bartomeu, but we are right now guys in an absolutely dreadful financial state. We can't spend money on players, it has to be free transfers. We've got players who we're trying to release now, even though we've got to pay them on £1 million contracts. We can't renew Messi's contract because we don't have the money and we go over the salary cap. We're trying to reduce our entire squad salary by nearly 50% for all of our players. And I mean, what more evidence do you need, guys? We all know it. We're taking a massive loan from Goldman Sachs, 500 million. We're in a horrible financial situation. And this summer, guys, to try and, recuperate our finances, to try and get us back on our feet, Laporta will be taking serious measures and actions this summer to try and save us. And he's already taken some. And in regards to that, guys, I'm sure you've all seen the news in the past few weeks. There have been some releases from Barcelona, and that is the sort of thing, really, guys, that doesn't usually happen. Certainly not at an elite club. It could happen in the lower divisions of English and Spanish football, for example. But I think at Barcelona, it is so rare you would actually see players released from their contracts. That is because of our financial situation. We saw it with Mateos last week, and then recently, guys, in the last few days, we saw smacked on the front cover of a Mundo Deportivo newspaper that both PJANIČ and Titi will be given, as they call it, the freedom card in Spain to leave Barcelona for free if they don't get themselves out of the club very, very soon. And I think you look at the calibre of players there, guys, that we're trying to release. These aren't Mateos Fernandez. That was more understandable. Even that was a shock. But PJANIČ, Titi, established international players, elite footballers in their time. Certainly not anymore, but they were, top footballers. And Barcelona now are looking to release them. Why? Because they're on massive contracts and they won't leave. And it is the same for the rest of the squad now, guys. This isn't a holiday home anymore. I said that in some of my recent videos. We cannot afford to have all of these fringe players on absurd salaries sitting on the bench and refusing to leave every time the transfer window comes around. We've seen it for years now. Laporta won't let it happen. He's come out to the club. He wants things done properly, and players will now be released from their contracts if they don't leave. So with that in mind, guys, these guys aren't the only two who will be going this summer, and I've actually kind of written down a list of a lot of players who we recently got updates on from Braithwaite in a radio program they did last night. They went through a load and a load of players and gave some good transfer updates and some updates into what Barcelona could be doing with them this summer, and it ties nicely into this video, the serious actions that Laporta will be taking at Barcelona this summer. Let's start with Neto, guys. Of course, Neto's someone we've spoken about for a long time now. He'll likely be either leaving to the Premier League or the Serie A this summer to try and free up some money for us, of course. Although even then, we probably won't be able to use it on player sales. It'll just go into our, finances to try and recuperate us a little bit. And instead, we could be using a B-team goalkeeper there as a number 2. Iñaki Peña would come in on a very low wage and, of course, at absolutely no cost at all. In terms of CLÉMENT Lenglet, someone who I'm always asked about a lot in the comments down below, I think the situation with Lenglet is pretty much the same. They're not openly looking to sell him, but if a good offer arrives for Lenglet, a good enough offer, I'm sure the club will not hesitate to sell him. In regards to Titi, guys, as we just mentioned, Titi will be leaving Barcelona, yes or yes. There's no way for him to stay here. He's desperate to stay. He loves living here, the huge salaries on. And he says that he's going to try and get himself back in shape and prove himself to Koeman this summer. But I think the club have had enough, and rightly so. They want to get him out, yes or yes, like I said. He can either accept a sale, a loan, or if not, he will be released. Jordi Alba is a very interesting one. Not long ago, guys, almost over a week ago now, we were seeing rumours that Alba could actually be leaving Barcelona this summer. That's kind of died down. Alba certainly wants to stay, but like a lot of the players in this video, if he wants to stay, he's got to reduce his salary, and by a lot too. Sergio Busquets is just like Jordi Alba in that regard. Again, he's going to be staying at the club. There were some rumours of him going to the MLS, but that will be later on in his career, 1 or 2 years, I'd imagine. But for now, guys, if Busquets wants to stay, similar to Alba, he will have to cut his salary, and perhaps in half. MIRALEM PJANIČ, of course, we mentioned him earlier. Him and Titi really are the names on all the fans' lips right now in terms of that big news that came out that those players could be getting released from the club. Of course, he's similar. He can find a loan where he cuts his salary. He can find a transfer, if any club is willing to pay his high salary. But if he doesn't get on with it, if he's not willing to leave, if nothing happens, he'll be released from Barcelona. The club will not have it. They may even go to court with some of these players if, the financial dues aren't paid here and there, but big actions will be taken. Carlos Aleñá is a very interesting one. He's a player who I mentioned in my transfer video the other day, guys. I'm sure if you guys saw that, and I said the same thing that I'm going to say in today's video. Aleñá will be leaving very, very soon, and that will most likely be to either Getafe or Valencia, and you would also imagine on a permanent deal for just under 10 million euros. Alex Moriba is a player who we've gone a little bit quiet on. You'd expect him to be in the first team next season, but he would have to renew his contract, of course. It's nearing its end. He'll be ending that in 2022, I believe, so we will need to renegotiate a contract for him, and it will, of course, all be about announcing those wages and agreeing on that sort of thing, because, of course, right now with our wage situation, we will need cheap wages. Alex is a young superstar. He'll want big wages. We've got to find an agreement on that. Martin Braithwaite, of course, is a player who has been starring for Denmark in the Euros, but again, the situation with him remains the same. Barcelona will be looking to sell him this summer, that is for sure. Braithwaite apparently wants to stay at the club. I'm sure he'd love to stay and fight for his role, but I think right now for Barcelona, they see him as a player who has a lot of good offers in for him. We could be getting around 15 million euros for him this summer, and hopefully he finds a place where he's a regular, and of course, after his impressive Euro performances, he could just be getting that. Coutinho is a very, very interesting situation. The one with Coutinho is this, guys. The club are extremely determined for Coutinho to leave. That is because of his massive wages. Coutinho is on absolutely huge wages. And of course, guys, if Coutinho plays any more official games for us, we will indeed have to pay even more bonuses to Liverpool as part of that transfer. So right now for Coutinho, guys, the club are desperate for him to leave, but I'm sure you guys have been seeing the reports. It's actually very difficult for Coutinho to leave the club right now. His wages are huge. The loan is hard to do. A transfer is very hard to do because no clubs are really willing to pay a big transfer fee for him, especially after the fact that he's been injured all season. So it is actually really difficult for Coutinho to leave the club, but Barcelona, I think they see that with our financial situation, we cannot afford to keep him at all. Next up is Antoine Griezmann, a very interesting situation, and like I've said a few times, guys, I imagine Griezmann will stay at the club, but with our economic situation, it makes it interesting. If certain players don't leave, Griezmann may have to leave, and if a good offer comes in for him, the club will remain the same. And like Lenglet, if a good offer comes, he will be sold. And I think, with our serious action that's been taken this summer by Laporta, I wouldn't be massively surprised if a big transfer like Griezmann happens. And that's the advice I'd give, actually, right throughout this transfer window. Clearly at Barcelona, we're going to be surprised this summer. Laporta is going to be taking actions that we're not used to at the club with Bartomeu here. So watch out for what happens with Antoine Griezmann. In regards to Dembele, his future kind of ties into Griezmann, as Dembele perhaps could have been sold this summer, but due to his injury, the club now imagine he'll actually renew his contract with Barcelona. So that could be an interesting one. Dembele staying could mean Griezmann going, though, is what I'd say. So, that kind of ties in with each other. What do you think about that? Would you keep Dembele? Would you be happy if he renews? Same goes for Griezmann. What are your thoughts on these two players? And just finally, guys, on Francisco Trincão, we've gone through quite a few players there, but Trincão, I may have mentioned him earlier, he has been loaned out to Wolves with a loan-to-buy option for Wolves. It's not compulsory, but if they do want to buy Trincão, it will be costing them near 30 million euros at the end of the 2022 season. So that, of course, is quite similar to what we paid for him. And we are hearing, guys, that Alex Collado could be taking Trincão's place in the first-team squad. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I think this summer we are going to be seeing some big moves from Laporta. I wanted to make a video because, well, Raccoon did a really good transfer roundup last night, so that's why I will put all of those players in. And well, guys, with our financial situation, things are going to have to change. We're going to have to free up a lot of wages. The players who stay are going to have to cut their salaries. And then other than that, guys, we're going to be hoping a lot of players leave. Transfers, loans, or releases even for Barcelona this summer. Those are the big things that are going to be happening. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave any of your thoughts in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Goodbye.